TikTok is the most downloaded and captivating app that can keep users scrolling for hours on end without them realizing it. It can even create an obsession, making it difficult for users to put it down. The question of whether TikTok poses a threat to privacy is a topic of debate, and the US government's decision to ban it may be justified due to concerns about how the Chinese government could potentially exploit our personal data. Join us at Ahead Truth to explore these issues and learn more about the future of TikTok. After TikTok CEO Shu Chu testified for more than 5 hours before a congressional committee on Thursday, one thing was clear: US lawmakers remain convinced that TikTok poses an urgent threat to national security. The hearing, Chu's first appearance before Congress, began with one lawmaker calling for a ban on TikTok and remained combative throughout. A number of lawmakers expressed deep skepticism about TikTok's efforts to protect its users' data in the US and concerns about its ties to China. Nothing Chu said seemed to move the needle. The rhetoric inside and outside the hearing room highlighted the growing bipartisan momentum for a crackdown on the app in the United States. During the hearing, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said he supported legislation that would effectively ban TikTok. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said TikTok should be ended one way or another, and the Treasury Department issued a statement promising to protect national security, without mentioning TikTok by name. Concerns about TikTok's ties to China have prompted governments around the world to ban the app on national devices, and those fears have contributed to increasingly strained US-China relations. But the federal government's comments Thursday, coupled with an earlier threat by the Biden administration to impose a nationwide ban if TikTok's Chinese owners don't sell their shares, show that a full ban on the widely popular app is very possible. More than 2 years after the Trump administration first issued a similar threat to TikTok, however, it remains unclear whether the app poses a threat to national security. Security experts say that while the government's fears are serious, they currently only reflect the potential that TikTok could be used for foreign intelligence, not that it's already being used. There is still no public evidence that the Chinese government has actually spied on people through TikTok. TikTok doesn't operate in China. However, because the Chinese government has significant influence over companies under its jurisdiction, ByteDance, and thus indirectly TikTok, could be forced to cooperate with a wide range of security activities, potentially including the transfer of TikTok data. It's not that we know TikTok has done anything, it's that there has been an increase in distrust of China and awareness of Chinese espionage, said James Lewis, an information security expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The context for TikTok is much worse as trust in China is waning. When Rob Joyce, the National Security Agency's Director of Cybersecurity, was asked by reporters in December to share his security concerns about TikTok, he issued a general warning rather than a specific accusation. "People are always looking for the smoking gun with these technologies," Joyce said. "I see it more as a loaded gun." Tech experts also draw a distinction between the TikTok app, which appears to operate very similarly to American social media in terms of the extent of user tracking and data collection, and TikTok's approach to governance and ownership. The latter is the biggest cause for concern, not the former. What is the concern? The US government has said it's concerned that China could use its national security laws to access the significant amount of personal data that TikTok, like most social media applications, collects from its US users. The laws in question are extraordinarily broad, according to Western local experts, and require any organization or citizen in China to support, promote, and cooperate with the work of the state intelligence agency, without defining what intelligence work means. Should Beijing gain access to TikTok user data, there is concern that the information could be used to identify intelligence opportunities. For example, by helping China uncover the vices, preferences, or pressure points of a potential spy recruit or blackmail target, or by creating a holistic profile of foreign visitors to the country by matching that data with other databases they have. Although many of the TikTok users are young teenagers who seem to have nothing to hide, it's possible that some of these Americans may grow up to be government or industry officials whose social media history could prove useful to a foreign adversary. Another concern is that if China has insight into TikTok's algorithm or business operations, it could try to put pressure on the company to influence what users see on the platform, either by removing content through censorship or by pushing favored content and propaganda to users. This could have a huge impact on US elections, political decision-making, and other democratic discourse. What does TikTok actually know about its users? Several privacy and security researchers who have studied the TikTok app say there are no obvious flaws that suggest the app itself is spying on users or sharing their data. In 2020, the Washington Post teamed up with a data privacy advocate to take a look under the hood of TikTok and concluded that the app doesn't appear to collect any more data than a regular social network. A year later, Pelion Lin, a Taiwan-based researcher at the College of Toronto's Citizen Lab, conducted another technical analysis that came to similar conclusions. But even if TikTok collects about the same amount of information as Facebook or Twitter, that's still quite a bit of data, including information about the videos you watch, comments you write, private messages you send, and, if you consent to that access, your exact geographic location and contact lists. TikTok's privacy policy also states that the company collects your email address, phone number, age, search, and browsing history, information about the content of photos and videos you upload, and, if you consent, the contents of your device's clipboard so that you can copy and paste information into the app. TikTok's source code is very similar to that of its Chinese counterpart, Douyin. Lin said in an interview, "That means both apps were developed on the same codebase and customized for their respective markets." He said, "In theory, TikTok could have hidden privacy-invading features that can be turned on and off with a change in server code that the public might not know about. But due to the limitations of reverse engineering an app, Lin was unable to find out if such configurations or features exist." If TikTok were using unencrypted communication protocols, if it were trying to access contact lists or precise geolocation data without permission, or if it were trying to bypass system-level privacy safeguards built into iOS or Android, that would be an indication of a problem, Lin said. But he found none of those things. "We didn't find any obvious vulnerabilities in the communication protocols or any obvious security issues within the app," Lin said. In terms of privacy, we also didn't find any behaviors in the TikTok app that resembled malware. TikTok cited Lin's investigation as part of its defense. Citizen Lab this week pushed back against the community's portrayal of the study, saying in a statement that TikTok portrayed the study as somehow exculpatory, even though one of its key findings was that Lin couldn't see what happened to user data after it was collected. In a rare moment of obvious frustration, Chu told lawmakers at the hearing that TikTok and Citizen Lab are really versions of the same thing. "Citizen Lab says they can't prove anything, and that's what I've been trying to do for 4 hours," he said. Conclusion: TikTok may be collecting a large amount of data, much of it silently, but as far as researchers know, it's no more invasive or illegal than what other US tech companies are doing. Security experts believe that's more due to the wide latitude we give tech companies in general to handle our data, rather than a problem unique to TikTok. We have to trust that these companies are doing the right thing with the information and access we've given them, says Peter Mudge Zatko, a longtime ethical hacker and former Twitter security chief turned whistleblower. We probably shouldn't. This is about how these companies are ultimately run. Lin told CNN that the data hunger of TikTok and other social media companies highlights the failure of policymakers to pass strong privacy laws that regulate the tech industry in general. TikTok is just a product of the whole economy of surveillance capitalism, Lin said, and governments around the world are ignoring their duty to protect citizens' private data and allowing big tech companies to exploit users' data to their advantage. Governments should try to better protect users' data instead of focusing on a specific app without evidence. Asked how he'd advise policymakers to engage with TikTok instead, Lin said, "What I'd call for is more evidence-based policies." Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. We would love to hear from you. In the meantime, feel free to check out some of our other videos. Take care, till next time.